Daughter smashed the gift her mother had given her, and burned all of her mother's photos. Then she threw her most cherished three-person sketch into the fire pit. Finally, she and her father left the house with their suitcases. Meanwhile, her mother was still celebrating the birthday of her ex-boyfriend's daughter. Until the next day when she took her ex-boyfriend's daughter to school, she encountered her husband and daughter who had just completed the transfer procedures. The ex-boyfriend's daughter deliberately taunted the little girl, said the little girl didn't have a mom to come to her parent-teacher conferences. The little girl angrily slapped her. Upon seeing this, the woman immediately began to discipline her daughter. The daughter retorted that the woman, not being her real mother, had no right to educate her. The woman sensed that her husband and daughter had recently changed. She believed it was a tactic of playing hard to get. She advanced, ready to slap her husband hard, but she was pushed to the ground by her daughter. Then the daughter pulled her father away and left. Only then did the woman realize that perhaps she was not a good mother after all, nor was she a good wife. It turned out that after an ex-boyfriend dumped a woman a couple years ago, an accident had resulted in the woman giving birth to a daughter for the man. Since the daughter was born, she treated her as a stain on her life. Until the daughter was 3 years old, she had never once embraced her daughter, nor allowed her to call her mom. Instead, she lavished care on the ex-boyfriend's daughter. From that day on, the daughter understood that her mother deeply disliked her. It wasn't until the daughter turned 6 that the woman happily embraced her daughter for the first time. In that moment, all of the daughter's grievances dissipated, but the man knew that her happiness was not due to her daughter. When the woman took off her favorite necklace and put it on her daughter, the daughter smiled happily. At first, the daughter believed that her mother had begun to care for her. Little did she expect that her mother would suddenly collapse, drunkenly, onto the sofa, while calling out the ex-boyfriend's daughter's name. At last, the daughter understood why her mother was so happy today. It turned out that her mother's ex-boyfriend had returned to the country, but thinking that it was the first time her mother had given her a gift, the daughter tried to convince herself to forgive her mother. So she cautiously asked her mother whether this was the birthday gift her mother had given her. Unexpectedly, after sobering up and hearing her daughter's address, the mother became furious. The daughter quickly corrected herself and called the mother aunt. Immediately after, the woman yanked the necklace from the daughter's neck and sternly reprimanded her, forbidding her from ever touching her possessions again. After saying that, she left without looking back, completely indifferent to the hurt feelings of her husband and daughter. The daughter finally realized that no matter how hard she tried to please her mother, she would always be a disgrace in her mother's eyes. Seeing her daughter's young heart so deeply wounded by the woman, the man knew that the home would leave nothing but sorrow for their daughter. So he gently asked the daughter if she wanted to leave this place, but the daughter was still unwilling to give in. She had always longed for her mother's acknowledgement. In the end, she agreed with her father to give her mother another chance, because she hoped that her mother would come and celebrate her birthday with her. The next morning, they began preparing immediately. The daughter even took matters into her own hands, wanting to surprise her mother. But little did they expect that after a busy morning, the woman came to the house, accompanied by her ex-boyfriend and his daughter. The ex-boyfriend even deliberately pretended to ask who they were. And so, to prevent her ex-boyfriend from knowing that she had remarried and had a daughter, she lied, claiming that her husband was the family's hired housekeeper, and that the little girl was the housekeeper's daughter. The woman tasted the food that her daughter had made by hand and was very pleased. This, however, sparked jealousy in the ex-boyfriend nearby. The ex-boyfriend's daughter deliberately remarked that the dish tasted awful, and told the woman that she wanted to eat gourd chicken. The woman immediately told the man to make gourd chicken. The father and daughter endured in silence as they busied themselves for most of the day. Just as the daughter was carrying dishes out, she accidentally slipped and fell to the ground. Instead of caring about her daughter's injuries, the woman blamed her for her clumsiness.